Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we are taking a look at some more awesome spice in the Open Ultra League. Today we are taking a look at Yveltal, not in the Master League, but in the Open Ultra League. It's a Pokemon that's most commonly seen in the Master League, and honestly I was in the process of powering this one up for the Master League, but I figured, you know what, while I'm here I may as well try it out in the Open Ultra League. So I decided to pair it with the Swampert on the lead, and a Togekiss safe swap, so it'll play like a standard ABB style team, with the goal being to bait out the anti-flyer. So without further ado, let's hop into the battles and let's take a look at Yveltal in action. Picking up a really nice lead here versus a Jirachi, a very interesting pick for the Open Ultra League. You really don't see too many of those. I build up to the Earthquake and I bait. Unfortunately, they call my bait. Very nice read by my opponent. They go for the Resisted Doom Desire, and they're going to safe swap into their Politoed. I don't have a great response to a Politoed safe swap, so my plan is I'll go for the Earthquake. Unfortunately, they shield it, and now I will bring in the Togekiss because the charm damage can really add up. They throw a bit early, so that's telling me that they have Weather Ball and Earthquake instead of Weather Ball and Blizzard, so I'm in a pretty good spot here. Unfortunately, Weather Ball and Mudshot is an exceedingly spammy combo, so they're already at a third one. I do decide to commit a shield because I want to make sure that I can get to this Aerial Ace. And I did opt to run Aerial Ace just because it is a cheaper charge move than Ancient Power, and since Charm doesn't charge particularly quickly, I wanted the ability to get to charge moves as fast as possible. Weather Ball won't take me out, but my opponent actually aggressively switches in the Jirachi and takes me out. I can bring in the Swampert. My goal is to get them to waste energy here. They throw, that's great, and now I bring in the Yveltal, and we're going to try and commit to the farm down. We get a Snarl through that's very, very big. I do shield up the Doom Desire, that would hurt, and we're able to farm down. We leave with a ton of energy. It all depends what is in the back. We know there's a very low health Politoed, and it's a Gyarados in the back, so things are looking pretty good for us. We go for the Dark Pulse. That does huge damage to the Gyarados. They bring out the Politoed. We're able to Snarl down, and we have two Dark Pulses loaded, and this poor Gyarados doesn't know what hit it. We're able to get the shield. We're at another Dark Pulse, and this is going to be absolutely crushing Gyarados' hopes and dreams. Yveltal closing strong and getting us the Game 1 victory. Hopping into the next match, picking up an amazing lead versus a Talonflame. Unfortunately, one Hydro Cannon doesn't KO, but Swampert significantly outpaces Talonflame to charge moves, so long as you match shields, this is a pretty comfortable win for Swampert. Even though they bait with a Flame Charge, that's totally fine. Again, I'm making sure to time my charge moves to throw before they reach their next charge move. They double shield, and right before they get to the Brave Bird, I'm able to get to a third Hydro Cannon. This does not KO, but it leaves it with very few HP left. I do shield this up in case it is the Brave Bird. Again, they do decide to bait, and I'm going to be able to get to a charge move before that Incinerate finishes, and we're going to be able to take them out. And even though they were boosting up those Incinerates, they're resisted, so they don't do a whole lot. An opposing Swampert comes in, and they win CMP. I don't believe this will take me out. It'll do a decent amount, but doesn't quite take me out, which is very, very nice. Hydro Cannon there, that's fine, and I'm going to build up to a Hydro Cannon, and I safe swap into the Togekiss, and we're able to bait out their anti-flyer, which is Registeel. And this is obviously not a great matchup for Togekiss, as Flash Cannon is going to be doing big damage, but it's fairly hard to lock on down a Togekiss, and we're going to be able to get to the Flamethrower, which hits them for super effective damage, and the resisted charms will really add up. And they're going for the farm down, which is a big mistake for them. The reason being I have loaded energy on Swampert, I win CMP, and all that energy that they just farmed up on Registeel is now completely gone. Their own Swampert comes in, and this could get tough. We have our Yveltal in the back, and it's going to need to take some hits. First Hydro Cannon comes through, does a decent amount of damage. One more Mud Shot, they're at another charge move. This does not KO, it leaves us very low. Two more Snarls, we're able to get to the Dark Pulse. Is this going to be enough to take out the Swampert? It is, and Yveltal again able to clutch up endgame for us and get the win. Alright, hopping into match number 3, Swampert into Empoleon. This is definitely more of a neutral lead. It's very dependent on landing the Earthquake. And they try and catch onto their Dragon Breath Giratina. We have a great response for this. Well, honestly, we have 2 pretty good responses, but since it's Dragon Breath, I figured I may as well bring in my Fairy type, since Fairy is going to be double resisting those Dragon Breaths. We're able to farm all the way down, and Togekiss is loaded on energy for whatever decides to come in. It is the Empoleon. We're going to be going for the Flamethrower, as this is going to be hitting for neutral damage, and Empoleon is fairly glassy, so that actually does a solid amount of damage, and we have loaded energy on the Swampert. Empoleon does win CMP, so we are going to have to start shielding, but we're going to be able to apply quite a bit of pressure here, because they're going to have to shield if they want to get off their second charge move, which they do. They throw. Again, I like having my Swampert fairly healthy, so I am going to shield, and I make a bit of a misplay here. I probably could have committed to a Mud Shot down, but instead, I throw the Hydro Cannon and take them out. They have a Togekiss in the back, and things are looking very, very difficult. I'm able to get to 2 Hydro Cannons, which is nice. The downside being, Yveltal's a Dark type, so it's going to be taking super effective damage from the Charms, and Ancient Power is going to be hitting for super effective as well. I land the Hydro Cannon, we come in with the Yveltal, and the Togekiss throws. Those Charms are chunking. Ancient Power does big damage. Can we get to the Hurricane? We get to the Hurricane versus the Togekiss. So even against a Fairy type, Yveltal able to close strong and get us the win. Hopping into the next match there. Terrible lead. And we save swap into our Togekiss, and they counter swap with their own Togekiss. The fortunate thing is we're seeing that their Charmer here as opposed to on the Yveltal. That works out pretty well for us. They throw, and at this point, I'm definitely okay with just letting that go, and I'm going to be coming in with the Swampert and seeing if we can farm up a little bit of energy. I don't really want to take any more charm damage, so I do decide to throw instead of building up any extra. But the important thing is that we now have shield advantage, which is very useful for the end game. I'm going to let this go. My Swampert's health I'm not too concerned about, and I'm going to bring in the Yveltal, and the fact that they're staying in is giving me hope, because that means that they may be double weak to Yveltal in the back. We'll have to see what they have. Dragon Claw comes through, farming up a bunch, and now we're going for the Dark Pulse. Let's see how much this does to the very tanky Giratina Altered. Oh my goodness, that almost takes it out. I know I can survive a Dragon Claw, so I'm going to let this go. We'll see what they have in the back. It's a Cresselia. Okay, we have a chance here. The nice thing is they're going to need 2 moves to take us out. Since we saved our shield, it's going to be rather difficult for them to take us out. We're going to be able to land this Dark Pulse. That does huge damage, and now we're going to aggressively switch in the Swampert. We did have an Earthquake loaded, but 2 Hydro Cannons will do more, and we're able to get to a second Hydro Cannon. They had to overfarm, and we were able to get to a move faster. We're able to take them out. The Giratina comes in and concedes the match, so that is 4-0 in my first 4 games with Yveltal. Terrible lead. They save swap into a shiny Obstagoon. They're building up a ton of energy, but I see that a Charm went through, so even though this is a Gunk Shot, I can survive and Charm down. So we live with actually 1 HP, which is fantastic, and we have a loaded Aerial Ace for whatever comes in. Talonflame comes in, and they think it's an Ancient Power, and they shield. That's absolutely huge for us, because now we have a shield advantage in a very commanding matchup for Swampert. Again, I like to throw before the Talonflame throws to apply a lot of pressure to them. They actually take the charge move, which is a very nice play. I'm going to shield up the Brave Bird, and we'll see what they have in the back. They have a Scrafty in the back. I'm going to build up a ton of energy, and we're going to try and get this shield so we can get shields down. We get the shield. It's Yveltal time. Here we go. Fortunately, Scrafty can only really power-up punch because the foul play is resisted. We're going to be going straight for this Hurricane. This is a stab Hurricane, but it's a Scrafty. Oh my goodness, does huge damage, takes out the Scrafty, and at that point, my opponent just stops attacking. They're like, just get me away from Yveltal. We're able to take them out and get the 5-0 set. Hopping into set number 2, this is a pretty rough lead for us. as Swampert doesn't have the best matchup versus Shadow Machamp, so I decide to play for the extra Mud Shot so I can get to 2 Hydro Cannons before they get to a second move. Alright, we're able to get to the second one, which is fantastic, and now we're going to be throwing these moves back to back. First one does get the shield, which is great, and the second one gets them very low. I aggressively switch in the Togekiss to snipe down the Machamp. They have a Registeel in the back, so we're able to bait out the Steel type, which is very nice. Unfortunately, I don't have any loaded energy on my Swampert this time, so I'm a bit less prepared. Flash Cannon comes through, that does huge damage, but I am going to be able to get off this Flamethrower, which is going to be doing nice damage if they decide not to shield it. Oh, that does big damage, which is absolutely fantastic. I have a tough decision here. I opt to come in with the Yveltal. Everything is going to be neutral, but a Focus Blast does hurt quite a bit, and they have a Swampert in the back. I opt to go for the Hurricane. I'm thinking maybe a Hurricane will KO. It doesn't, so that was a definite mistake by me. What I needed to do, since 2 moves were going to kill anyway, I needed to go for 2 Dark Pulses. So a bit of a misplay by me since I hadn't really run this team before. So a bit of a misplay going for the bigger move. And I'm going to bring back in the Yveltal, but unfortunately this Swampert has quite a bit of energy. Hydro Cannon comes through, and they're at another move, and that's going to be taking out the Yveltal. So unfortunately, a bit of a lack of familiarity with how much the Bacon Bird's moves did end up costing me the match. Alright, picking up a pretty nice lead versus an Alolan Ninetales. Depends on the fast move. It's Charm. That's really, really good for us as we significantly outpace this thing. And as opposed to in the Great League, where Charm can absolutely tear Swampert apart, Swampert can hold its own fairly well against Charmers. Alolan Ninetales going for a move, and we're going to shield that up because we need all hands on deck. We're farming up an absolute ton of energy, and we're going to start just unloading these Hydro Cannons onto the XL Alolan Ninetales. I'll be honest, my regular Open Ultra League team really struggles with Alolan Ninetales leads, so I'm really happy that we can hopefully get some revenge now that I'm running a different team. And they're unable to charm us down. We're able to take them out, so we have switch advantage and shield advantage. Giratina comes out, and we're going to bring in our Togekiss. They have a Politoed in the back. Unfortunately, again, I don't really have a great response to a Politoed. I'm going to be building up a decent amount of energy and going for the Aerial Ace. And basically, my goal here is to have them Blizzard me. And they bait. I'm able to call the bait. And hopefully now they Blizzard me because I have 2 responses to the Giratina Altered. So I decide to shield that up and farm down. And at this point, they resign before even seeing the Bacon Bird in the back. So another win for the good guys. All right. Hopping into the next match against Lonesome Raider, another former Battle Legend, and more XLs. What do you know? XL Galvantula. So this team was just teaching XLs a lesson. We are going to play for the extra Mud Shot and let the first lunge through because that really doesn't do a lot. And I'm going to throw in the middle of their Volt Switch, so I am conceding 2 free turns of energy. But on the bright side, that way they can't sneak a whole extra Volt Switch through. I go back to back, we're able to do a nice amount of damage there, and again, I'm playing for the extra Mud Shot in situations where they're going to be throwing their charge move. Now, this ends up working out pretty well for me, as I'm going to be going for another Hydro Cannon, and this will take them out if they decide not to shield, and they let it go. So I'm very debuffed, they bring out their own Politoed, and I catch on to the Togekiss. Because if they do have some kind of an anti-flyer, I want to see it, and they do. They have Abomasnow. This is going to be very difficult. I'm really not expecting to see a lot of Abomasnows in Open Ultra, so it's very much a core breaker for this whole team. I'm going to build up to what would be a Sludge Wave. Hopefully we can force a shield, but they don't shield. But you know what? That's actually fairly okay with us, because I'm going to shield up this Weather Ball, and I'm going to apply some pressure with these Hydro Cannons to the Abomasnow. We're going to be going for another Hydro Cannon, and they actually let it go, which is huge, because this gets them very, very low. We're going to let the Swampert go. We don't have any shields. We're going to come in with the Yveltal, and they'll bring out the Politoed. And again, we just have to really hope for no Blizzard here. Let's see what they have. They go for the Weather Ball. They give me hope. I'm building up. Unfortunately, they have a shield, so I'm going to need 3 Dark Pulses to take them out. First Dark Pulse comes through. building up extra energy, and I think that's enough for a Blizzard. And they were just messing with me. They had a Blizzard. So unfortunately, could not quite take out that triple XL team. All right, hopping into the next match here. Looking for some revenge. Swampert, another XL Alolan Ninetales lead. And again, it's Charm. So this is really, really good for us as we can win this and have a shield advantage. So we're in a pretty good spot here. Hydro Cannon lands. That's fine. Again, we shield everything that they throw because the main source of their damage to us is fast moves, whereas our main source of damage is our charge moves, and we do significantly outpace them. We're going to start unloading these Hydro Cannons, doing a nice amount of damage. As you can tell, I'm very carefully timing my charge moves so that they don't sneak extra charms, and because they don't, I'm able to win with a very, very small amount of health left, and we're able to take out the Alolan Ninetales. They have a Politoed. What a surprise. XLs and more XLs. They go straight for the Weather Ball. So this tells me they're running Earthquake instead of Blizzard. They go for the Weather Ball, and they're staying in. And this is honestly fine. I'm totally okay with this. Hopefully this means that whatever's in the back does not want to see Flying type Pokemon, which would be really, really good for me. Another Weather Ball. I can survive that. And we will be able to get off this Aerial Ace, which is going to be getting that Politoed quite low, and we're able to charm down. What's in the back? It's a Mandibuzz, and this is a really good position for Yveltal to be in, as the Mandibuzz is forced to throw Aerial Aces against us. Although they go for a Shadow Ball, maybe they were unfamiliar with the typings, whereas we can go for Hurricanes. There's a bunch of lag, which is super annoying. But we're going to be able to go for these Hurricanes. Even though Mandibuzz is tanky, those Hurricanes do huge damage to Mandibuzz. Oh my goodness. Now they start going for the Aerial Ace. But at this point, we're in a really comfortable position. We sneak a Snarl through. We can safely let this go as this will not KO. And we're getting to the Hurricane. And this is going to be taking care of that XL Mandibuzz and giving us a win over yet another triple XL team. All right, and hopping into the final match of the second set, another terrible lead. We're going to save swap into Togekiss, and we bait out a Melmetal. This is pretty rough, I'll be honest, but at the very least, we're seeing the Melmetal now. So we baited it out, and that's something to be celebrated. They go for the Rock Slide. I really want that Flamethrower, and they don't let me have it. That's very unfortunate. So I'm not going to be able to get a shield advantage here or switch advantage. So what I need to do is I need to get an energy advantage. Fortunately, Melmetal doesn't hit Swampert particularly hard. So my play is farming up a ton of energy here and just waiting for them to superpower and basically just farming up an absolute ton. And now since they lowered their defense, a Hydro Cannon is going to easily KO from here, but I'm only 2 Mud Shots away from the Earthquake, and that's going to be doing nice damage to the Giratina Altered. Earthquake lands, does huge damage, and now we bring in Yveltal, and they have Registeel. We don't have Focus Blast, but they don't know that. So I'm going to build up to what would be the Focus Blast, I believe, go for the Dark Pulse, and we get the shield. That's very nice. I know one move doesn't KO me, so I'm going to let the first one through. It's the Focus Blast. Granted, it does big damage, but I know I can survive it, and it's absolutely miserable to try and lock on down a Yveltal, so they're going to be forced to throw their charge moves. We're able to sneak a Snarl through, which is very, very nice. A misplay by my opponent, which gives me some extra farm. Farming up a decent amount of energy here. As you can tell, I'm 1 off of a second one. I'm going to be able to go for another Dark Pulse here. I bank the move, and I switch into the Swampert. My thinking here is hopefully they're going to try and farm down. If they try and farm down, I can get to an Earthquake, which should force the last shield, and they're going to leave with a ton of energy, but Yveltal wins CMP. So they farm down, they're ready to hit me with charge moves, but I win CMP. So all of that energy they just farmed up, completely wasted. And now I just have to get to a Dark Pulse versus the Registeel. Come on! And we're able to get to the Dark Pulse. So Yveltal closing strong and finishing out the 8-2 run. So all in all, I don't think Yveltal's like a main Metamon or something, but I think it's a very solid like off meta pick. And honestly, it performed a lot better than I was giving it credit for. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.